When it came to the final episode of WandaVision, many people are divided. It was the lowest rated episode of the series, in a series that most people ended up loving. Now, the ending, I will admit, did stumble a bit. We here at CBC said the same thing when we talked about it, so we definitely agree. It stumbled a bit. Now, Elizabeth Olsen defends the ending to all the critics, so let's see what she has to say. So in an interview with Rolling Stone is where Elizabeth Olsen was asked about what happens at the end. Now, not specifically any of the actions or I guess what happens in the episode, like when she's flying around the sky and tossing energy balls at Agatha, not about that, but it's the actions and the backlash to Wanda's choice where she just takes off. She steals the book and she just flies off, doesn't really apologize or anything, she doesn't care. And she says, well, Wanda had to do it before the people that are going to hold her accountable for all this showed up. So she decided she's got to get away from it, and that there is tremendous guilt in her. And we see at the end that she's dealing with it in another type of way. Again, Wanda's story of grief, loss, and everything is not over. It's another chapter. And I think you definitely get that, and I get what she's saying, and I agree with it. I just didn't like many people, the actual execution of the final episode. I'm fine with the ending, and she specifically said, if you look at some of the complaints and everything, that's what it's about. And again, everybody has what they like, what they dislike. Some people absolutely hate something that other people love, and that's cool, that's fine. I agree with her take on this, and I agree with everything she says. Wanda had to get out of there, because if she didn't, things could have gone different. So she was doing what was best for her in that moment. That's literally what the series was about. Her doing what she thinks she needs to do for herself. So, yeah. The ending there, that part, in my opinion, I agree with her. It makes sense. It's tremendous the way they pulled it off and how they tied it all back around and connected the dots and everything. Could it have been executed a little better with a little more time and maybe another episode like we were supposed to get? Or a few episodes that we found out about? Sure, but what we got I think works, and the ending we got I think also worked as well. I mean, in due time, we'll see how this is played out in Doctor Strange and subsequent other sequels and appearances, and we'll know more. But for now, I agree with her. All the choices she makes at the end do make sense, so I don't really have a complaint about that like some people. Oh, and before people bring up the fact that she's not facing the consequences of her actions, she stole the Darkhold, and she's reading from it. She's clearly still being built up as somewhat of a villain. So that's gotta play into it, right? We're all on the same page here. She's not necessarily all good.